All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. We're joined here today by Meptech and Mike and Curly Dino doing episode, what was it, 3 of Dance of the Dragon Knights today. It's been fun. It's been fun. Had some technical difficulties, as always. This is good stuff, good stuff. Technical difficulties always happen. Despite your best efforts, despite all of the prep that you do, your computer's like, nope, not going to do it.
Still need an invite.
How you guys doing today? Doing good?
Doing good, yeah.
Doing pretty good, yeah.
Awesome. Sounds good. Cool. You need an invite? All right.
Remember, no live.
Yes, please.
Sounds good. Thought I already sent you one.
I think you started to, and then you had to do something else.
True. There you go. Invite sent.
Yeah, mine expired.
Boom. Got it. Okay, awesome. Thank you for that host.
We are being hosted.
Appreciate it. Let's see. So let me. Sound is a little bit loud. Okay. So, yeah, how you guys doing? Doing good today? Had a fun week?
Amazing now.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. What's up, Barrel Pepper?
Sounds good. Sounds good. I would usually do a bit of intro right here. We see what everybody was up to, but due to the delayed start, we're just gonna go right into it. Anybody have any objections with that?
Nope.
Oh,
Okay. So I'm using the jukebox feature in Roll20. Hopefully it works for you guys and it's not too loud. I have a decent selection of music. Now I just need to remember to use it. And we'll be on our way. So Firebug isn't here with us today. He had an issue with his dad, required his immediate attention. So we're gonna just kind of, I'll be a stand-in for now. I put it to a vote to see if people wanted to do like a flashback or like a meanwhile elsewhere sort of session. And everybody wanted to continue with the main story, which I don't blame them, because last time we headed to this village of Lastborn, a little farmer village 2 days south of Aganoth. And you were tasked with investigating a case of arson in the Black Mill ranch, if you guys remember.
Yep.
The
Attention.
arson
We are being
was...
followed. Shall I dispatch the welcoming drones?
Hold up. What's going on here? Okay, so the case of arson, you guys investigated and found that it was magical in nature. Though you couldn't get much more out of it than that. You realized that it was intentionally set. It wasn't an accident of any sort. And the Blackmill family is blaming the Banalairs, another rich rancher family that shares the field and land with the Blackmills. So you started asking questions, and Samantha Blackmill got all huffy in your face and said, "Oh, you're supposed to like side with me." Yeah, you know, that kind of stuff.
Bitch.
Yes, exactly. So we can pick up right there if you guys want. So you just got done talking with Samantha Blackmill.
Sure.
She got annoyed at you guys because you didn't just believe her that it was the Banalairs' fault that her ranch was burned down. You know that there's some bad blood between the two of them. They are fighting it amongst each other, trying to get the other off of the land so that they can have it all to themselves. You also slew some bandits on your way to Lastborn and met with a woman named Zayla, who took you back to her house and her quaint little family farmhouse. Had some dinner there, and they told you about the two different families. Yeah. What do you guys want to do? I think there was talk of maybe... actually, let's talk about goals real quick first. Get in the habit of doing
Sure.
that first. So, Kiorl, your 3 goals I have for you is get to the bottom of what's going on in Lastborn, learn a personal detail of each party member, and get back in the good graces of my house. You want to change any of those, or do you want to leave them?
No, I'm happy with those.
Okay, okay. Doran, you have collect a giant ruby. You have bring a thief to justice, and your last one was a hidden one, yes?
Yes.
Okay. So, do you want to keep those?
Yes, let's keep it.
Okay, all right. Himily, you have find out who's responsible for arson in Lastborn. You have graduate from the academy, and you have avenge my father. Do you want to keep those goals?
Yes.
All right, sounds good. Yeah. So for those who aren't aware, we're doing a bit of a different XP system than normal. Like normal D&D is like you need to do 3 combat encounters per session, and I just find having to do that many combat encounters boring. Like 1 or maybe 2 is fine, but more than that and it starts really dragging on. So we do this goal system here where the players work towards their own goals, and they get progress experience towards them, or if they accomplish it then they get a big lump sum, and the players can change them up however they want. So yeah, you guys, let's set the scene here. It's early afternoon. You are standing in the middle of the ranch of the Black Mills. To your left is a giant ranch building that has been burned to cinders. There's lots of ranch hands around trying to dig out the rubble and recover what can be recovered, but most of it is blackened ash and burned timbers. Not a lot to do here at the Black Mill Ranch other than investigate. You can see down across the fields and on a far distant hill the Bandelairs Ranch. You could also head back to town if you want. It's totally up to you guys what you want to do now.
I put it to a vote that we investigate the other ranch.
Okay, so what do you say?
Yeah, let's do that.
Read.
Okay, so you guys head out of the Black Mill Ranch. You leave from the same entrance that you came in on, between the fence boards and the big sign that has Black Mill on the top of it. Let's see. Messing with the music right now. And you start trudging down a dirt road. It leads you past fields of corn and potatoes, some fields of wheat. You wave to a couple farmhands that come by, and you approach the Bandelairs estate. As you do, everybody give me a perception check. I'll be Dalen. Let's go, Dalen. What you got? Perception. 19. Okay.
So we're not gonna go with my one.
Yeah, Kimberly is distracted maybe of the by the picturesque woodland view, enjoying the sun on her face and listening to the birds. Dalen, on the other hand, stops short of the gate, and he looks at you guys. He's like, this is odd.
What's odd?
He leans over the fence, and he takes a closer look at the rest of the estate. He says, does it seem a little quiet to you guys? He looks back the way you came. You remember the hustle and bustle of the Black Mill Ranch not even just 20 minutes ago, and he looks ahead, and there's no workers outside of this ranch estate. The 2-story wood and brick building rising on top of a hill. There's a ranch hand facility off to the side, but you don't see anybody walking around at all. And Dalen looks a little perplexed. He scratches his head, and he's like, weird.
Is it lunchtime already?
Dalen looks up at the sun. You see it's like pretty far in the west, the west. And he shakes his head. He's like, I don't think so unless I eat late around here. He shrugs. He's like, odd. Well, shall we continue on?
Yeah, let's try to find out where everybody is.
He nods.
Wait, Daylan, can you do a magic check to see if there's any magic going on around here?
He rubs his chin, and he nods at you. He says, "Yeah, I suppose I can do that. That's a good idea, Kimberly. Better safe than sorry, right?" And he casts detect magic. So Dalen stands there in the middle of the dirt path near the entrance gate to the Banalair estate. And he closes his eyes. He murmurs a brief prayer. The sun shines briefly upon him, though whether that's because the sun is out already or if some other thing is happening, you don't know. And he shakes his head after he closes his eyes.
So should, eh? That'd be awesome.
What's that? Oh, a hockey
Oh,
stick?
sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Meant to mute it.
And he shakes his head. He's like, I don't detect any magic in our area.
Okay, I think we should go further then to investigate.
Yeah, he nods. And you walk beneath the entrance sign to the Banalair estate. It's got 2 horses on it, the words Banalair in black ink. And you trudge your way up. Before too long, even before you reach the ranch house, you see the front door open and a woman in a dress comes out. It's got frills on the bottom and around the sleeves. It's colored green and brown, kind of a classical look to it. And she waves her hand. She's like, "Hey there, come on in." And she beckons for the 4 of you to approach. Dalen looks at you guys uncertainly.
Well, we have to know. She's noticed us. We can't back away.
Yeah, we can't really turn around now.
She's smiling wide and she beckons again. She says, Now, don't be shy. Come on in. I saw you coming up the drive."
Okay, I'll be the first to go. I'll be brave.
I follow close behind.
Come on, Dalen. You can't worry about everything. There might be food in there.
Is that all you think about, Doran? Food? At a time like this?
What else? What else is there?
Good point.
Riches.
And you approach, and she shakes each of your hands as you meet. Kimberly first. She's like, "Well, who do we have here?"
My name is Kimberly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from the city.
She nods. She looks at you, Kiorl. "And you, strapping handsome man? Who are you?"
I'm Kiorl, as well from the city.
"Ah, Kiorl. What a nice name. And who are you, little man?" And she kind of pats you on the shoulder. Doran.
Doran Oathkeeper at your service, ma'am. We've brought news from another ranch, and we brought some appetites to talk about it.
Like, "Oh, well, you know how things work around here, don't you?" And she nods at Dalen, and Dalen says, "Dalen, ma'am." And she says, "What a nice group of gentlemen. Well then, let's come in. My name is Kayla. We'll have a bit to eat. We'll talk here a little bit and see what's going on. We don't get a lot of visitors around here. Make sure to take off your boots before you track the mud all around." And she kind of ushers you guys inside. And each of you enter this foyer. And it's pretty simple, made of wood. You see there's a bunch of shoes there. 3, 4, 5 pairs of shoes, actually. Scuffed and muddied.
Channel 1, what's up?
Hey, Channel One, how you doing? Wow.
What's up, Channel 1 Plus?
And let's see, so we gotta stop that. And she gestures you inside, like, come on, don't be shy. Let's go, let's go. She like kind of ushers you guys all inside. The door shuts behind you. And you can see in the next room a hallway that leads into a grand entryway. You can see on the far side of the entryway a double staircase that leads up to the second floor. The floor looks like it's made of black and white marble squares. You can see chandeliers hanging from the ceiling. From the sides, display cases with different ornate items like scrolls and paintings of the Bandolier family, suits of armor, etc. And she just ushers you guys inside, and as long as you follow her, eventually she leads you to a sitting room, well appointed couches and chairs, a table, bookcases full of books, a fireplace with a roaring fire. And she's like, sit yourselves down for a spell. I'll go and get my husband, and we'll make some tea and have another round of introductions.
Okay, thank you for your hospitality.
He's like, oh, think nothing of it. Of course, thank you very much. And she bustles away, her old dress whispering against the ground, the floor rather. And Dalen comes in looking around a little flustered, and he sits down at a couch, and he sinks into it. He's like, oh well, this is quite a nice couch. Bounces a bit.
Can we get Dolan to do the one he does whenever he checks to make sure everything's genuine?
Do you say that to him? Like, I don't think he'll think of doing it himself.
I'll whisper it. Dolan, I don't know. I feel like something's up here. Do you think you could maybe do one of your infamous checks?
An infamous check. he like scratches his head and looks at you with eyes narrowed, like, infamous checks. What do you mean, Kioro?
Well, I feel like something's up here. Do you think you could do out of character now? Is it arcane check that he does, or
you could just like
insight?
Describe what you want him to do. Do you want him to take a look around, or
Yeah.
do you want him to look for magic stuff, or?
I'd say look for magic stuff again, just to be safe.
Okay. Pushing my buttons, people. You jerks. Really should turn that off.
So yeah, Dolan, I feel like something's up. Do you think you could check for some magic, or maybe see if there's any spells or anything goofy going on around here?
He nods. He's like, "Here, let's all take a look. I don't know what to look for." And there's like books lying open on end tables. There's shelves. There's like the fireplace and portraits and paintings and just stuff hanging on the walls. And he gets up out of the chair and he kind of narrows his eyes and looks around at the walls, kind of snooping. So he'll do.
Can I do an investigation check?
Yeah, absolutely. So both got 19. Okay. So as you're looking around, you're not seeing anything out of the ordinary in this room in particular, except for a book that's lying open on an end table. You're not really sure what that book is. It looks like it has to do with like symbolism or heraldry or something. And as you peek your head out into a hallway leading deeper into the mansion, you see a strange doorway that seems to have a wax seal around it. But just as you're about to take a closer look at these things, Kayla and her husband sweep in on one side of the room, followed by 3 youngish teenaged girls. They look to be the same age. They must be triplets. They look very
Attention. We are being
similar to
followed.
each other.
Shall I dispatch the welcoming drones?
And Kayla comes in and is like, "Oh well, hello there. Are you having a look around at all our heirlooms and such?" And the father just kind of like holds up his hands like, now. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate the visit. My name is Eric Banalair. This is my family. You've already met Kayla, and I have 3 daughters. We have Veronica, and he gestures to one of the girls, Abigail in the middle, and Tara on the other side. Like, we're happy to make your acquaintance, and he gives a bit of a bow.
Well, good day, Lastus.
Good day to you too. Yeah.
One of the girls
No
looks at
sons.
you, Kiorl, and blushes and kind of like steps back behind her mother a little bit. I mean, they're teenaged, but you know, they don't get a lot of
150-year-old drow.
yeah, exactly. A big, handsome, dark man. So right, monkey? Oh boy.
I just said hello to them. You guys are reading way too much into this.
So Eric says, please, what news have you brought us of the city? I'd like to hear all about it. Our servant is making some dinner. It'll be ready soon, but in the meantime, let's talk. And he sits down at one of the couches, and his wife sits next to him, and his 3 triplets sit next to them, and they all look like they're prim and proper, straight-backed, their hands folded into their laps.
Okay, to not arouse suspicion, I will sit also. And I actually have a couple of questions myself. We were just wondering about the fire that happened here.
Eric nods, and his eyes go, his face clouds over as if a cloud passes in front of us, and he's like, yes, the fire. I've heard about it. I think last I heard it was an accident. Was it not? He raises an eyebrow at you.
We've just arrived, and for such a small place to have such a disaster, we were just curious about it as well.
He shakes his head, like, disasters happen sometimes out here. The fields have been dry the past couple weeks. We had a thunderstorm the other night. Perhaps that's what caused it. That's what we thought anyways. And we're glad that it didn't strike our ranch. Was everything
I've
lost?
noticed
Do you know? He leans forward.
For the most part, yes, everything has been lost. But I noticed your fields seem to be quite moist.
Okay, he doesn't laugh. Okay, I laugh because that's a funny joke.
It's an interesting way to put it.
And he shakes his head. He's like, that's such a shame. The Blackmills have been part of this town for generations. To see them out of a house and you said everything was lost? And he shakes his head again. He's like, that's going to be hard to come back from. And
I have a question if I can,
We
sir.
are being followed.
yes,
Shall I dispatch the welcoming drones?
Dalen, right?
How was your relationship with them?
Well enough, as can be expected. We're business rivals, of course. I'm sure you 4 from the city know what that's like. I'm sure you have all sorts of things to do in the city.
Oh, absolutely.
Speak to me of that.
Have you ever had Why are you so interested in the city?
We don't.
Do you not get there much?
No. He shakes his head. We stay on the ranch, pretty much all the time. We work the fields with our ranch hands. We go to town occasionally to get supplies, but other than that, we don't go far out of Lastborn. There's harriers on the road.
Do you mingle with other people in the town?
I'm sorry, and he raises he looks at you again.
Like, do you mingle well with the other people in the town, the townsmen?
Well enough, though I suspect that some people harbor some resentment towards us. You know how people are. They
Captain, we are being hosted.
smile at you and they wave. They act like they're all nice, but behind your back they whisper mean things to you because you're well-to-do and they're not. You know how it is.
I have another question.
Yes. Boy, full of questions, aren't you? I thought that I would
absolutely.
have some news from the city, but it seems to be the other way around.
Let's say for
No,
the
but-
last year, who had the better crop turnout? You or them?
He kind of like scrunches up his bushy gray eyebrows a little bit, and he rubs his chin. He's like, "Well, that's hard to say.
Oh, don't tell me you don't know what your business rivals do.
Well, yeah. What sort of reason would you want to know this for, though? You're
Oh, just
Are you here
curiosity,
to-
passing time before dinner.
Curiosity. Well, that is a strange curiosity, my young man. well,
Well, as you see, we're from the city. We don't know much farmers.
yeah, yes, quite. I'd say they probably had a bigger harvest last year than we did. We've had some labor shortage issues. We had some droughts that affected some of our crops. They seem to come through it much better than we did. They hire many more farmhands than we do.
So the reason we're so interested in farming is because I think we're looking to downsize from the city to here. And we are just wondering why don't you have as many people to help
Well, you see, there's
if
different
you are competitive?
there's different techniques that can be done. Certain crops need certain numbers of people to tend them. Some crops require more upkeep than others. You see, give him a deception check, Kimberly.
Also known as the BS check.
The BS check.
So yeah, he continues. You don't know if it went over well or not, but he doesn't seem to make any indication that he thought it was suspicious. And he says some crops require more upkeep than others. Some fields we let go fallow some years. You know how it is if you're trying to come out here. Do you know much about farming?
No, nothing.
Nothing at all.
He nods. Like, well, you'll need to learn a lot about that first. Don't you have that fancy academy in Aganoth? And
Can't say that
one of
we've
the
ever
girls
came
is like,
across it.
"Ooh, academy! Yeah, I've heard about that." And she like leans forward interestedly. He's like, "What's it like?" And Eric is like, "No, Abigail, wait for your turn." And she's like, "Oh."
Never came across it. No.
You just bold
I
face
don't-
lying to the man.
I don't know if I trust him. I ain't telling him anything.
Do you mean to tell me you came from the city but haven't been to the academy? I mean, even for him, that's a weird thing. Let's put it in context here. The academy is like a landmark. It'd be like living in New York but never going to the city. Or living in the city but
we
never
may have
going
been
to
there a
Times
time
Square.
or two, passing by on just to sightsee.
I mean, I guess when you live there, it's not as
Noticeable.
it's not as a big deal.
He nods. He's like, yeah, fancy city folk. I suppose that is true. Though out here, it is an important landmark. Everybody here, well, at least my daughters, dream of going to the academy and learning.
So you've never been yourself?
Maybe when I was small, yeah, with my family before they passed on and passed me this ranch.
Captain, we are being hosted.
And what do your daughters want to study?
He looks at them and he looks at you and he shakes his head. She's like, they want to be farmers, just like their old man, of course. What everybody in the Benalair family aspires to be. You can give me an insight check. The daughters have a look on their face, which is obviously not enthusiasm. Kiorl, you 100% know this look. The dad expects them to go into the farming business with him, and they're like, "But Dad, I want to go to the city," you know?
I know.
He doesn't seem to notice it or anything.
And if you could go to the city, what would you study?
You're asking the daughter or the father?
Yes, the daughter.
The daughter, yeah.
The daughter looks at her father, and he looks at her, and she doesn't say anything.
I just nod.
Now,
And-
speak up, Lass. Do your daughters have a voice of their own, sir?
Like,
Wow.
well, I don't know how it is in the city, but out here we do things a little bit differently, maybe.
I whispered to Carol, reel it in. Bring it back a bit.
Reel it
Roger
in.
Indeed. Even though these are strange parts, we still have to respect their ways.
He nods. He's
suppose.
like, That's why I like the look of you, gentlemen. I knew as soon as we saw you, you were good, fine folk from the city. So Dalen, speaks up and he says, "Sir, what is this book here? I found it. It looked really interesting." And he turns his gaze to a book that's sitting on an end table that Dalen had looked over prior to the family coming in. He's like, that's a book called what is it? He scratches his chin. He's like, it's from my father, who was a dragon hunter before he settled down to build this ranch. I forget what it's called, but it has symbology in it of some sort. It's an interesting read if you're into that sort of stuff.
Did you say your father was a dragon hunter?
Yes. Ravi Banalair. He
Then
lived in
would
the
it be
Eastern
safe
March.
to assume that you know all about the academy the question is about?
Well, that was before I was born, mind you. My father didn't
He
want
never spoke of it?
He shakes his head. He's like, he told me that dragon hunting was a dangerous occupation and that he didn't want me to have any part in it.
I've
He
heard
raises
this.
an eyebrow. He's like, you don't happen to be dragon hunters perchance? And he like eyes your sword and your armor and Kimley's longbow.
Somebody help me out.
No. As we said, we were simply from the city.
That's
It's
exactly
just-
Monkey.
it's dangerous roads.
He nods as if he understands and accepts your explanation. He's like, yes, they sure are. I've seen harriers. At any rate, I believe dinner is ready. And just as that moment, as if summoned, a servant walks in and says, my lord, dinner is served. He nods. Ah, good. Come, my friends. Let's go have a meal. And he gets up, and so does his wife and the triplets. And he gestures for you to come with him.
If it's okay with you, I'd like to stop by the restroom first to wash up before dinner.
Oh, of course. The washroom is on the way. He says, this way.
Excellent.
And
I know we've lost.
oh no,
somebody.
Meptek. He'll be back.
It's fine. I'm Doran now.
Must have
Apparently.
crashed. So the four of you follow Eric Benlair and his family, and as they walk down the hallway, the sealed door on your left drags your attention towards it. He doesn't mention it, but he's telling you about the history of the family. He tells you about a piece of information about the suit of armor that came from his dad. He
Sorry about that, I'm back.
tells you all about the house and what they do there, and what they're trying to do. And on the way, he points down a side hallway and he says, Kiorl, if you wish to wash up, it is down that way, third door on the right. We'll continue to the dining hall, if it's all right with you.
Yes, that is perfectly fine. I'll be there shortly.
He nods, and they continue on their way, and you split off from the group. So as Eric and everybody else heads towards the dining hall, Eric speaking loudly and proudly of his history, Kiorl, what do you do? Let's follow you as the rest of the group leaves.
I'd like to use my stealth and kind of go check out that door a little more closely. If there's no one like wandering the hallway, of course. I mean,
Well,
if it's like
you just broke off from the group, so it's like Eric in the group is like 5 feet away from you.
well, I'll go into the bathroom to make it look as though I am going into the bathroom first off. So I go in.
Mm-hmm.
I relieve myself because, well, we did have a long trip and we were investigating the farm for a little
Yeah,
bit. So
yeah.
I do actually relieve myself and wash my hands.
Might as well. It has a nice modern accoutrement, and it has flushing toilets, which is rare even in the city.
Just like home.
Yeah. Sure. So you take your time in there for a little while. You can hear Eric and the family fading down the hallway, his voice resounding in the marbled walls fading to nothing, and you decide to sneak out. So give me a sneaking check. Or a stealth check,
Stealth,
rather.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
24. Okay, so why? Like, let's get into your head here for a bit. You're fantastic at stealthing in this area. Why is that?
But maybe because it's I kind of lurk in the shadows a little bit. It's not a well-lit hallway, perhaps.
Do you have like a lot of practice stealthing in buildings from like maybe you used to do it back in the Raven Soul Mansion?
Yes, but I take my experience from my childhood where I would sneak around the house to sneak out with friends or sneak downstairs to spy on my brothers as they trained with my father.
So you know how to like use doorways to your advantage and move quickly but quietly along lighted areas. Yeah.
Yes.
So you're like a shadow moving between patches of light in this marbled hallway. And even though Eric's voice echoes and travels and you can hear the footfalls of your friends even as they go deeper into the mansion, you don't make a damn sound. So yeah, you sneak back to the intersection, you take a look left, you take a look right, you can see them fading down the hallway and entering a large room. Nobody's looking at you at all. You head to that doorway. What do you do?
I want to do investigate it, I guess, first off. So I'll do an investigation
Absolutely.
roll. Oof.
It looks like a normal doorway to you with some sort of substance around the crack of the door, maybe sealing it shut or locking it tight. You're not sure. There doesn't seem to be even a space on the bottom. This yellow substance is just like molded into the cracks.
It's a very, is it like a hard substance, or like I wouldn't be able to take a sample of it or anything?
Yeah, you touch it a little bit and it seems pretty hard. You tap on it lightly, it doesn't crumble or anything.
Okay.
Even this doors doesn't even have a keyhole on it. It just has a turn handle.
I tried to turn the handle to see if the door will budge at all. Maybe turning the handle will release the goo for the
yeah, you turn
shotgun.
the handle and it turns all right, but as you try to open it, it's stuck. It's like you know, it's sealed tight with whatever substance this is. As you're
if I want to check
looking, as you're looking at it, and you're investigating it, give me another stealth check. Okay, so as you turn the handle and you're like trying to open it, the door like vibrates slightly and you can feel it give slightly, but like you know it's probably stuck up. Like it feels like it's jammed essentially. You hear the whispering of somebody approaching, and you move back down the hallway into a shadowed entryway. Just in time, the servant that had come and gotten you guys for dinner comes wandering up that same hallway that you were. He stops and he looks at the door slightly. He like leans forward and looks into the hallway where you went. He doesn't see you, and then continues on his way, disappearing down where Eric and the group went.
That was a close one. Can't seem to make any headway with this door. I should probably make my way back to the group before they begin to suspect something is wrong with either my bowels or maybe me being sneaky.
Is there anything else you want to do?
No, I think that's it. I think I'll head back to the
Okay. Yeah. So you
Head back to
come,
the group.
you make your way down the hallway, and as you approach the entryway to this other room, everybody else has been seated around a vast table. Eric and his wife are like laughing and telling a joke. You can see food laid out, a chandelier above, more artifacts and such around the walls. It seems to be a well-appointed banquet room, and you like stop like hunching over and you like straighten up. You're like, ah, as you enter.
That was good. That was good. Nice bathroom you have there, my lord.
And Eric, who's in the middle of like telling a joke about beets and turnips, and then his wife laughs raucously. I don't think any of the rest of you even think it's remotely funny. Nods at Kyora's like, I'm glad you found it. How did you like the it's called a flushing toilet?
Yes. We have some at home as well. I am from House Ravensoul. If you've heard of us.
Nobility, nonetheless. I see.
Yes, sir.
He nods. He's like, please have a seat. Have a seat.
I pull a chair, sit down,
mm-hmm.
take a good hearty look around at the table, and I'm actually hungry.
Yeah. Oh, there's lots of food here. Chicken and gravy and biscuits, bread of all sorts, corn and beets and Brussels sprouts. Good country fare. You know how it is. So what are the rest of you doing during this time?
Just sitting here awkwardly looking at everybody, thinking how much I want to leave.
mm-hmm.
Checking out the food.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, there's lots of food, dude. Lots. All different types. They did not spare anything for you guys. And in fact, it seems like the servants are like waiting on you more than they're waiting on Eric and his family. So like you don't have any water. What's that?
I was gonna say, if they're only waiting on us and not the family, can we get a like what would we roll to get to check for like poison or whatever? Is it insight or arcane? Well, if they're only serving us, to me that right there raises a red flag in my head.
Probably investigation, honestly.
Investigation?
It's not like they're only serving you. It's like they prioritize you over.
They're just they're waiting on us.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like at the restaurant when you just finish your water, the waiter comes up and pours water into your glass like before you've even putting it down. That's exactly what's going on here.
So I guess you never get a lot of guests then here, my lord and lady.
Like no, we don't. The Black Mills get many people coming and going. They're closer to the main road. We, on the other hand, get hardly any. I'm not sure why. And Lady Benalair, Kayla says, tell us of your journey here. Did anything happen? I've heard the roads can be exciting. She leans forward with interest.
I kind of look at Doran and Carl to see if we should tell them the truth or not. Give them the look, like we're gonna lie here or and tell the truth. What?
Since you've heard it anyway, we did run into some trouble. We had some bandits attack one of your townsfolk here. We dispatched them quickly, and she was good enough to give us a ride back here.
Oh my! Who was it that was waylaid on the road? And how did she fare?
She's fine. You'll have to forgive me, I can't recall her name.
Ah, of course. It must be difficult keeping names straight with so many new names.
More than you know, my lady.
You came out of it all right then? No injuries that need tending to? We have a fine physician here. We could patch you up real quick.
Nope, we are all fine.
Ah.
Lady, we saved her father and her family tended to us very, very well.
She nods. Like, describe these individuals for me if you would. Maybe I could place them.
It is a young woman that lives with her father and younger brother.
Ah, are you talking about the Zayla?
Yes.
And Dylan and Anthony?
Thank you.
Ah, fine people. They're one of the best. Down-to-earth folk. They have a small freehold farm near the edge of town. How did you find them? Seems she's like hungry for gossip.
She was ambushed and in the middle of the road.
Oh my, that must have been such a harrowing experience. I'm glad she's all right, and I'm glad you're all right as well. So
Lord,
do you guys...
I noticed your fields were quite empty of workers when we came up on the farm. Do you not have many workers?
No, it's it's and Eric gives her a look. Give me an insight check.
Ugh.
Okay. He gives her a look. The mother Kayla kind of says, "Oh, excuse me. It's not my place to talk about business." And Eric nods. And Dalen looks at you guys like, that was weird. Something is fishy here for sure.
Yes.
But he doesn't say anything.
Forgive me for asking, but you said that you don't do as well as the other farm, yet you seem to have more staff and physicians and kind of more wealth. If it's not out of place to talk about that.
Ah,
Full
well,
standing house.
family finances is certainly not something I'll be forthcoming with strangers such as yourselves, but we do well enough, yes? Eric nods. His triplet daughters are just slowly picking at the food and popping little bits in their mouths. They don't seem very enthusiastic about this whole thing. It's like they're antsy to get someplace. In fact, I think like partway through the conversation, they eat a little bit and then they're like, "May we be excused?" And their mother says, "Yes, now go wash up and ready for bed." They're like, "Yes, mom," and they push back the chairs and get up and leave. And it's like they didn't even really eat anything.
I whisper under my breath, they're vampires. Confirmed. That's it. That's what's going on here.
Vampires. I mean, maybe. Yeah. Okay. Do you guys?
Wait, you said bedtime. What time of day is it?
It's getting to be like 5 or 6, which is, you know, in a medieval time when there's not electric lights. That's
Yeah, and
when the sun,
farming
when
time.
the sun goes down, they go down. Yeah.
Okay.
Giggity.
Yeah. Is there anything else specific you want to talk about, or they'll just make like polite small talk, trying to ask you more about your goings on at the city?
So tell us about this house. Whenever we entered, we noticed the long hallways and a few doors. And who built this house?
My father and mother hired a bunch of workers to build this house. Not even that long ago, actually. Maybe 70 years or so. As I said, he was a fairly famous dragon hunter. He wrote that book out in the sitting room. Did you have a look at it? And he looks around.
No, may we?
Yes, be my guest.
Can we do a history roll? Because if he's famous, we probably would have
Yeah,
heard about
Maybe
him
heard of
at the
him.
academy.
absolutely.
Just dumb noble.
Just saying, he can't be that
Um,
famous.
Yeah.
Kimberly, you've heard that name, you think? Maybe somewhere? Ravi Banalair? You've heard of it? You know where the Easter March is? It's pretty far away, though. You think back to when your class is about dragon hunting, and the history of dragon hunting, and you think his name was in there, but you can't remember any specifics. It could be because the
Okay.
Easter March is pretty damn far away. Or it could just be he wasn't as famous as his son is making him out to be.
So I remember hearing about your father, the name. Could you tell us more about him?
His eyes light up. He's like, yeah, yes, of course. My father, Ravi, he hunted dragons in the Easter March, which, as you know, is far away from here. Many weeks travel. He slew many dragons, in fact. He slew 3 adult dragons. He like counts off on his finger. He slew a white one, a blue one, and a black one. He took their heads back to the city and put them on display there. He gained quite a bit of popularity due to this. Though, of course, he wasn't like Fireheart or Flameheart here in Aganoth, of course.
Ah, Flameheart.
But my father made a tidy sum of gold. He headed over here to get away from the politics of the Easter March and set up this ranch here. Hired a bunch of people with the gold he made from dragon hunting, hung up his stuff, and had a family. And he puts his arms around his wife's shoulders and gives her a kiss on the cheek.
Interesting. May we see the book now?
Is everybody done eating? He looks over at everybody.
We all look at Doran. Are you done eating, Doran?
I'm looking at a piece of meat on my fork and spinning. I have a question, if I might, sir.
Of course, of course.
First, thank you for your hospitality.
Yes.
We were famished.
Yes, we try to be as kind to everybody as we can.
I see many different types of vegetables here. How would you say your harvest was? You mentioned that you had some drought issues and some crop issues. How would you say that your harvest was?
The last couple years, not as good as other years. Of course, it's always hit or miss with these things. I can't control the weather.
And I've also
Or
noticed
can you?
I've noticed no animals on your farm. Yet there's an abundance of meat. Where did this all come?
Yes. There's been a sickness that went around our livestock maybe a few months back. The cannibals, oh boy.
Vampire cannibals.
Yes, vampire cannibals.
Vampire cannibals.
That control the weather.
That control the weather. Exactly. You guys got it. 100%. You got it right on the nose. Man, I don't
Mystery
even...
solved.
Yep.
Campaign done.
We don't need to play anymore. Okay, see you later, guys. Have a good one.
Bye.
I just shoot a look to each of the companions and I just nod. Thank you for that information.
Oh, of course. You must understand, I can't be 100% forthcoming. I only have your word that you're from the city, of course. You might be from the Black Mills attempting to gain an unfair advantage. He laughs as if he doesn't really believe it, but he might deep down.
Wait, so why do you think that they would try and gain an advantage over you?
Well,
They've just lost their farm. There was a fire, so there's nothing.
Clearly, you have the advantage now.
he thinks about it in a moment. And he's like, "Nah," and he nods. He's like, "Yeah, good point. Good point. Perhaps you're not. Yeah, I hadn't thought about it that way."
So
The
tell us
Bandolier,
about
or
your
the
life, bitch.
Black Mills, and I go back a long time, ever since this was founded, and they did not like my father buying up this land. The Black Mills had thought to purchase it and farm on this land before we got it, so we kind of put a little crook in their plans, you could say.
Crook in their plan.
They haven't they haven't been exactly the nicest people to us, but we've been cordial.
Have you ever thought about expanding your farm
Oh, of course. What farmer doesn't?
and trying to buy them out?
Of course. What farmer doesn't? The more land you have, the more things you can grow, the more profits you can make. That's long and the short of it.
Well, I mean, now with the fire, it would probably be the perfect opportunity to.
Well, he kind of like waves his hands a little bit. He's like, it wouldn't be a proper time to do it. To approach Samantha now and offer a price for her ranch, it would be like putting salt in the wounds, if you catch my drift.
Why not? Business is business after all, is it not?
Yeah, but
And it may help them in the end
um,
to at least get started back up again.
Can I do
What
an
little he might
insight
have
check to see if he's
yeah, of
being
course.
genuine about it?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
If he genuinely, okay, I'm not going to be able to tell.
He seems to be genuine, Doran. Like he
Okay.
doesn't want to he doesn't want to do that to Samantha.
Understood.
So he's like, that, we've had a fair rivalry for some time. I can't say there hasn't been some problems. But we try not to be mean to people if we can help it. Now then, if we're all finished, would you like to go take a look at that book? He raises an eyebrow.
Yes.
Indeed.
Yes, I will.
He stands up, pushing the chair back, and his wife stands up beside him. He turns to Kayla. He's like, Darling, would you go tend to the children, please, and make sure they're all settled in for the night? I'll take our guests back to the sitting room and have them look at this book. She nods to him, and she's like, "Ah, yes, of course, dear." They give each other a smacking kiss, and she wanders off to a staircase that leads up to the second floor. Like, all right, well, back this way. And he leads each of you out of the banquet hall and back to the sitting room.
My lord, would it be too much to ask for a glass of brandy while we peruse this book?
Wow,
A man after my
okay.
own heart. No, of course not. And he gestures towards the sitting room. He's like, the brandy isn't here, after all. I do like a bit of a liquor while reading.
So do we pass the door that's
Yes.
um
It's right there for all
can I
of you to
ask about
see.
that? Yeah. So what's that there? That looks interesting.
He raises an eyebrow. He's like, yes. We we have a bit of a rat problem in the basement, and we seal it up so that they can't get out. You know how it is. Rats like to get into everything.
A rat popping. A rat
Rat, you say?
problem, you say?
Yeah.
Dealt with
Wow.
rats ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Anything
My
we
eyes
can
at
help
him.
with?
I narrow my eyes at him and I tap my fingers on my axe slightly. And I look and I say, "Can I be frank with you?"
Of course. My name's not Frank. No, I
Can I be Eric with you, sir?
yeah.
You can be whatever you want.
Now
I
that
prefer
your
Doran,
family
though.
is gone, what are you not telling us? What do you not want them to hear?
But I'm being entirely forthcoming. You guys, he's so obviously lying about this door. I don't even need you guys to make a roll.
Okay.
He's like, we simply have an issue in the basement. We keep it quarantined down there so it won't get out.
Well, then I
If
stand
it's
up.
something we can help with, then we will be more than happy to help with.
No, of
Gladly.
course not. No, this isn't. No, I could hire somebody to exterminate them if I really wanted to.
I stand up,
don't you
walk
worry.
over. I put a heavy gauntleted hand on his, slap him on his shoulder.
Mhm.
Your hospitality has been amazing. It's now time for us to return the favor. And I walk over to the door.
Like, don't. Are you just gonna like bash it?
Oh gosh.
Yep, just shoulder block it in.
He's like, please don't. Okay, give me a strength check
Okay,
or athletics
wow.
check rather. It's gonna be DC.
A what? I'm sorry, what check?
Athletics is gonna be DC 13 to do it in one go.
Hold on.
While this is happening, I'm looking at Carl like, holy shit, do we stop him? Like,
And it's
I
what
was
R?
with
What is
Kimberly.
R30 RD?
You
what?
told me to roll it back.
An athletics check. It's in your skills. You just click
Oh,
on
got it,
athletics
okay.
strength. It's a DC 13. Oh, you did it. Okay, nice. Okay,
Wow,
so if you
okay.
guys don't stop him, no. Okay.
no, I kind of want to know as well. So I'm gonna pretend
Yeah.
it's like kind of hold him back, but secretly no. Like, go
Yeah.
ahead
No,
and do
Doran, please don't.
Yes.
No, stop.
Doran,
Don't
you
do
told me to
it.
hold back.
Yeah,
What are you
Dalen is
doing,
looking
dude?
uncertainly between you guys. Like, should we do something? Do we not do something? And then it's too late as Doran just rushes it with his little dwarf body and shoulder checks it. Goosh! Corners, the wax seal breaks off. But more than that, because of your 20, the door even just like breaks. It's older wood. You bash it where your shoulder hits it. You like bust through, and then like bits of the door fall down around you. Some hanging off of the door hinges, and Eric is like, "What? Why did you do that?" And he looks very angry now. He's like,
I'm
shown
sorry,
you,
sir. Just trying to help.
I've shown you nothing but hospitality, and you have to. Oh, now you've done it." He's getting really angry.
And what have we done? Now it's time for you to be totally forthcoming, is it not?
Yeah, go and have a look for yourself. And he like waves his hand dismissively at the stairway.
Okay, I'm gonna do an investigation check.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm gonna enter just the doorway and do an
Yeah,
investigation.
so there's a staircase that leads down into what looks like the foundation of the building. You see stonework, walls, and an opening at the bottom. It looks like maybe a cellar of some sort. So you go down to the bottom of the staircase.
We've seen this
Yes.
before, haven't we?
Yes, we have. This looks all too familiar.
And
Kjorl, would you mind taking a look down there, see if you can stay as quiet as possible? Yell up the second if there's any trouble.
Roger, I'm gonna do a stealth.
Okay. Yeah, you creep down.
Creep down to the bottom of the stairs, keeping a low profile, so as to not allow any of the light to cast a shadow down. Because the basement's out of character. Basement's dark, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I keep as low profile as possible, so as to not have the light from upstairs cast a shadow down onto the cellar floor of what little light there will be showing. Do an investigation once I get to the bottom of the stairs.
You have dark vision, right?
I do have dark vision.
Well, that's the only way you can see down here, because this cellar area is like completely sealed up. Like any cracks, anything, there's no light down here at all. So yeah.
Yeah, I have dark vision up to 60 feet.
Okay. So it doesn't take you long to figure out what's going on here. You head down to the bottom of the staircase and you take a look around. This cellar room is not actually that big. It's maybe only like 50 by 50. And in it, you see barrels. You see some of them are closed and sealed, and some of them are not. And you can see maybe you take a whiff, and you smell the smell of sweetly fermenting fruit. You take a closer look.
Smells like fruit. Is it wine, perhaps?
Yeah. So you head over to one of the barrels and you dip a finger in and you taste it. Yes, it's definitely wine.
I head back up the stairs and ask Eric, so Eric, is it simply just you're just brewing wine into the basement, fermenting it?
And his teeth are clenched and he's trying to keep his composure. And he says, yes.
So why do you seal the door shut?
To help the process.
Interesting.
So is that how you make your fortune then?
And he sighs. Yes, that's how we do it. You do know that wine is heavily taxed, right?
Oh, so you're doing this as a bootlegger?
I guess one could say that. Bootlegger, that's one term for it.
What other term would you use, Lord?
I don't know. And he waves his hand at you.
So
but now this batch is ruined. Thanks to you. And he points a finger at you, Dorian.
Well, it appears that we have taken up a lot of your time. I think we should be going now. Thank you.
He's like, we ruined your wine. Peace out.
Yeah. So, sir, the crops in the field then, are they just for show? Is that why we see no workers in the field?
Yes, they're for show. We keep up the pretense.
So, if it's for show, then why do you want to buy the other farm? Wouldn't that just arouse more suspicion?
Think about it. What sort of farmer doesn't want more land? He quirks an eyebrow at you. Like if we just,
but you don't hire people, though.
And he just quirks an eyebrow, like, maybe I would if I had more land.
I look at him. My apologies, sir. You have to understand. Since you were forthcoming and now we know your secret, we will tell you ours. We are indeed dragon hunters from the Academy.
No. I don't consent to this, Doran. No.
It's too late. Sorry.
So as you try to stop him, he says, he nods. He's like,
Gosh,
I had my
Doran,
suspicions.
No, we did not know this of you.
Your gear reminds me of my father's. It looks similar. And I know Aganoth has a great academy of dragon hunters. Are you graduates from that academy?
Very recent graduates, yes. So now I must ask, does anybody know about your little operation here? You must have buyers, you must have people who you must have to pay off.
Yes.
In this kind of operation, everybody does. So,
people come.
Now that everything is out in the open, why don't you give us the whole story of what's going on here and how we might be able to assist you and how this ties in, if it does, to the other farm?
He sighs and he says, I have no clue about what's going on in the other farm. Honestly, I don't. I don't know what started their fire. I don't know if it was a mistake or not, if it was an accident. These things happen sometimes, but not to all of the buildings simultaneously. Buyers for my wine come once every couple moons. When it's ready, we unseal the door. They come in, take the casks, and head them off somewhere. They return with payment. I don't know where it goes, but I assume that they smuggle them into Agonoth somewhere. This particular wine is very expensive. You understand? It's
Have any of your
regulated.
buyers or middlemen ever expressed a desire for you to expand?
He shakes his head. It's like, no. Expansion would really only be useful to keep up appearances.
Do you know anyone that does magic?
He frowns at you. He's like, no. Simply no. He simply says no.
Dalen, could you please do a magic check to see if there's anything here magical? And I say this out for him to hear. If it's here, we'll find it, sir. So if there is magic about, we will know. So tell us.
No, I don't know of anything magical.
Dorian's
Right,
just going full bad cop.
Throws up his hands and he like starts walking away. And
All right,
Dalen,
Dalen, start chanting.
I guess he would use his last spell slot for detect magic again. So 30 feet? No. So Dalen again closes his eyes. He clasps his hands together with his holy symbol between them. He starts chanting. He looks around with his eyes closed, and when he opens them, he shakes his head like, nope, nothing detected. At least within
All right,
30 feet.
Thank you for your honesty.
So he's in the sitting room now, he's like slouched in one of the couches with his hand on his temple, like, oh god, what are we gonna do now? And you come in and he says, there's the book if you want to look at it, or maybe you want to tear pages out of it. I don't know.
So was this an operation that your father started back after he stopped dragon hunting?
He nods, like, yes.
I look at Dorian and Carl with suspicion.
I asked him, why do you think a dragon hunter, as famous as he was, would need to do this?
He shrugs. He's like, I don't know. A better way to make money than farming. Farming is expensive, guys. He looks at you and he says, you have to hire the farm hands. You have to feed them and clothe them. You have to get the equipment and make sure that it's all kept in good condition. Making wine, on the other hand, you just press the grapes, you put them in the barrels, you let them ferment, boom, you're done. As long as you can get
So is
past
that all
the
you
taxes.
grow as grapes?
What's that?
Is that all you grow as grapes then?
Yes, in some of the further back fields, we have quite a few of them. Just can't see them from the road.
And no one has questioned what you do here.
He shakes his
This is
head.
just grapes.
Not until now.
All right, let's have a look at this book then.
Yeah.
Okay. So he I think the father breaks out the brandy and he pours himself a glass and just downs it, and then breaks out another glass of brandy and he downs that one, and then he offers you a drink, Kiorl. He's like, would you like one?
Yes, Lord.
And he pours you a drink and kind of pushes it towards you. He's nothing if not polite. And
I take it, sip on it.
yeah,
Good
so
brandy, sir.
the three of you,
Did you make this as well?
he shakes his head. He's like, nope, that was bought. One of the people came from one of the people came from Agnoth to take the wine one time, and they had this bottle. They said it was good brandy. I had a sample, and yep, sure is. And he like clears his throat. So you take a look at the book. The three of you crowd around it. You flip it over, and on the cover, it's leather bound. Looks like it's more like a notebook than anything. And the title is Symbols of the Void. And as you take a look in it and you page through it, give me either Arcana or History or Religion. Either one. Whichever one would be best. I'll tell you different stuff based on what you roll.
And mine are all like solo.
Damn! Oh, you got a
Lucky.
nat 20 on your religion roll. Great. Okay. So Doran, that 14 history check, you begin to understand that this book, written by Eric's father, has information on different dragon cults that exist in the world. Most of them are in Eastern March, where he spent most of his time, but some of them are wider spread. You can see some notes in the margins about his father, like hunting down and tracking members of these dragon cults, eventually hunting down and slaying dragons themselves. And Kiorl, with a religion check, with that nat 20, yeah. So you come upon a page with a symbol on it. And you blink because you've seen this symbol before. And you think back, like, where did I see it? Where did I see it? Where did I see it? You've seen it before, you can't quite place it. And in recent time as well.
Did we see this symbol at the old lady's basement?
You're not sure. Yeah, you're like, you see it, you're like, oh, I've seen this before. Where was it? Where was it? And
Symbol looks so familiar.
Dalen also looks at it, and he says, I've seen this symbol before. And Eric looks up and he says, the cult of the Red Dragon. Yes, that's the cult my father had a particular hatred for. The Red Dragons are the most destructive out of all of them. His hometown was raised by a Red Dragon at one time, and he made it his life's duty to destroy all of them. You said you've seen this before? Dalen nods, and he looks at you, Kiorl, because he notices that you have that look on your face too.
Yes, I've seen this somewhere before. I just can't place it at the moment.
Dalen nods as well. He's like, was it in one of the books we read in the cat? No. I don't. We didn't see anything in the dragon's base or the lady's basement, right? Other than that weird altar. He raises an eyebrow at you, Kiorl.
There was symbols on the altar, I believe.
He nods. But
could they have been this mark?
Those were necromantic, weren't they? And he looks uncertainly at Doran.
Yes.
I believe they were, yes. I could be wrong, though. They could be both.
Nods. Hey, I don't know. It's gonna bug me. It's gonna bug me. And Eric, he as well. You know what always helps me is a good night's rest. Listen, you've ruined my batch of wine, but it's getting late. What do you say we call it a night? He looks up at each of you. I have guest rooms you each can take if you want. It's no big deal to me. I'm nothing if not polite.
Well, thank you for your hospitality once again. Sorry about your wine.
Yes, well.
Yes. You apologize for the wine.
Maybe you can make it up to me somehow. I don't know how yet. But we'll get by. It'll just be a tight bit of a tight month as far as the finances are concerned, but we'll be okay. We'll be okay. He
again, sir, what would you say a batch of wine brings you monetarily?
Each batch of wine of that, and he rubs his chin, I'd say probably 1,200 gold for a shipment.
Very, very good.
He nods. He's like, yes, it is quite good, actually. My father He told me one time that doing this was more profitable than hunting dragons sometimes, and far less dangerous. But he also mentioned that it depended on like what sort of dragon and like how much treasure they hoarded, and I don't know. There's a lot about his past that I didn't really ask about, and he didn't volunteer either.
And how many shipments do you put out in a year?
We put out maybe 3
Oh, then you should be well off.
if the growing is well. Yes, though paying for this estate is certainly not cheap, but we have the savings saved up, thankfully, for just such an
All right,
occasion
again, sir.
as this.
We thank you for your hospitality. I will be happy to take a room, but I must ask one thing in return.
Yes, what's that?
Please allow me to fix your door.
You don't have to. The servants can do that just fine.
Fair enough.
If you really want to, I won't say no, but
I'd rather, yes. I'd rather.
all right, be my guest. And he looks up, and almost as if they had already known what he wanted, the servants are there, and they beckon to you to like, please, this way for your rooms. And the 3 of you, minus Doran, head off with one, and Doran heads off with another. So the 3 of you heading to the rooms go deeper into this massive mansion, up a marble staircase to the 2nd floor. They take you down a long hallway, which is plain, notably. Unlike the bottom rooms in the 1st floor, the rooms up the hallway up here doesn't have any adornments. There's no paintings or anything. Though the floors are still made out of the fine marble. The walls are made of some granite maybe, and they bring you to your rooms. Each of you have a separate room that they bring you to right next to each other, and they unlock them for you and lead you inside. Once inside, each one has a tall curtained window looking outside to the woods in the back of the estate. A 4-postern bed, mirror and dressing table, a rug in the middle. All in all, these are well-furnished guest rooms, that's for sure. What do each of you do? Do you just head to bed, go to sleep?
I look around.
I whispered to Dalen, Dalen, would you mind coming in and doing a magic check, please?
Dalen kind of quirks an eyebrow, and he's like, "You're awful paranoid, aren't you?"
Just cautious. I figured you of all would understand.
He nods.
Didn't Dorn stay back with the door?
The door's not locked from the outside. Well, Doran,
I thought, didn't he stay back to fix the door though?
That's
I thought it
true.
was
No, we're doing it
three
in the
of us.
morning. I'm sorry. I don't want to bang and wake everybody up.
Oh, okay. There.
Oh, okay, Roger.
Gotcha. Okay, so yeah. Dalen nods. He's like, "Well, I would, but I need a rest, like of the long variety, before I can cast any more spells."
Understood. Grumbled something about magic use.
Like, I from what I've seen so far, I'm not sure these people are users of magic, but maybe they do certainly seem to have their secrets, don't they?
Well, I guess we'll find out, won't we?
I mean, I
Nuts.
feel it's safe enough to just sleep now. I don't think we're in any danger.
Mhm.
Unless, he's very spiteful about that wine, then maybe you, Dorn.
Yeah, I'm the only one that's in trouble then.
He locks you inside, and then suddenly from the walls, vents open up and gas comes in. Ah!
So he's got flushing toilets and magical gas dispensers. Great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay, all right. So the 4 bed down for the night. Maybe Doran like checks underneath the bed. You can give me an investigation check if you really want to. Yeah, you take a good look around. Nothing seems out of the ordinary in this room. Nothing that you can tell at any rate.
Yet.
Except for the vent at the top of the room, but you think that's normal.
Beware the smiling DM.
Hey, I smile a lot, okay? So, listen to me. Okay. So unless there's anything more, each of you go to sleep. And Pioro, I think you're woken up in the middle of the night. You had a bad dream of some sort. You were in a field of grass, much like the fields around here. You heard a sound, you saw a shadow below you, and you look up and you see a massive dragon that is coming out of the sky at you, blocking out the sun. And before you can even do anything, its claws bear down on you, its massive maw chomps towards your head, and then a torrent of fire envelops you. And then you wake up, startled. And as you're getting your bearings, give me a perception check. 11. That's good enough. You see out of the corner of your eye a flicker of light. You turn to take a look, and it's coming from the other side of the window in your room. What do you do? I assume that the curtains are drawn.
Yep.
Yeah.
That dream, that light. What was that? I'm gonna sneak over to the window. And then take a look outside the window and investigate what that light is.
You pull aside the curtain in your darkened room, and you can see the sun. The sun has gone down. There's a moon out, but it's covered by clouds that have come in from seemingly nowhere. The sky has now become overcast. Excuse me. And so outside is very dark, though you have dark vision, so it doesn't really phase you that much. And you see in the back of the estate, from your viewpoint, a figure, a shadowy figure with some sort of small light in front of them, moving between the trees deeper into the forest. It looks like maybe you catch a glimpse of the edge of a robe and a hood.
What is it? I should wake someone to come with me. I go and wake up Kimley, because I know as another half elf she'll have kind of the same more stealthiness than a dwarf running through the woods.
And somewhat
no offense,
like
Doran.
vision.
You look like you needed your sleep anyway.
So you have a 17 stealth. So Kimberly, give me a perception check. You're sleeping, so you have disadvantage. Okay, so you don't hear Kiorl as he enters your room. What do you do to wake her up?
Kimley.
Just so you know, I'm a bad sleeper.
You're a bad sleeper?
I'm a bad waker as well, so go for it.
Waker. Gimli, and I kind of shake on her shoulder slightly, not enough to wake her, but not enough to startle her. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
startle her.
I groan and shrug him away.
Gimli, there's something going on outside in the woods.
No,
Gimli, wake up.
No, I'll deal with it tomorrow.
But it's happening now. Why?
I slowly
Why put
turn
off for
around.
Tomorrow, what can be done today?
I slowly turn around and look at him and give him a death stare. This better be good.
Well, I hope it is good for our sake.
Okay. I get out of bed.
So, notably, you guys aren't in your armor because you wouldn't sleep in your armor.
Yeah.
It takes time to put it on, so either you can take time to put on your armor if you want, or you can just go without it immediately.
If it's urgent, then we should leave now.
We should leave immediately. At least grab our weapons and make our way into the woods.
Grabbing your weapons is a-okay. So you grab your weapons, you cinch up your pajamas, and you try and make your way out. How do you leave the building? Do you go out the front door? Do you try and go out a window?
I'd say a window would probably be the safest.
We're elves. Let's just hop out the window.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you open up the window.
Parkour style.
In Kimberly's room, a light breeze comes in. It's cold, slightly damp, and the curtains billow out as you look over the edge. You're on the second story, so a little high up to just jump.
Is there anything we can climb down with?
Do you have anything to climb down with?
I do have. Well, I mean, I carry rope, but
Mm-hmm.
is that on me at all times?
Yeah,
I guess I grab the rope.
it's in your pack, so
It's
it'd
in
be where your
my. I
weapons
think it's in
were.
my burglar's pack, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have rope as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, or I'm gonna save my rope and let's grab the bed sheets and make a makeshift rope.
Do we have time?
It's like a
If
prison
it's
break.
that urgent?
I'll take the rope out of my burglar's pack. I tie it off to the bedpost, throw it out the window, and give a tug on it to ensure the bed is sturdy enough not to pull towards the window
Absolutely.
the minute we get onto it.
Okay, so
And then
roll me acrobatics or athletics. Because you have rope, let's go advantage.
okay,
There you go. You needed that advantage.
thank
Emily?
goodness, yes.
There you go, 16. Okay, so Kiyorl, first out the window, is deft of hand and just shimmies down the rope, no problem. Gets to the bottom, and he's like, Kimberly, come on. And Kimberly, you make your way out. It takes a little bit longer, but before too long, both of you are outside. Let's see. I got some. Where is it? This one. Here we go. I got some music for this. Some ambiance. So yeah, you're heading outside, going into the woods. You saw the direction that the person went originally, and you head in that direction.
I see she was over, or the light was over this way, Kimberly. Let's make our way this way, but let's try to go as quiet and stealthily as possible.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll have to
So
roll.
as you approach
stealth.
that area, you guys can roll stealth, and then you can also roll survival to try and track the person.
Oh, my survival's terrible.
Wow. We're not good elves.
14 and a 12 and 8 and a 3. Okay, well, thankfully for you guys, the tracks are fresh and in some shallow mud. So you head deeper into the woods. Hold up, I gotta turn down this volume of this a little bit.
The crickets.
It was kind of overwhelming me. There you go. Okay, so yeah, you track them deeper into the woods. Every once in a while, far into the distance, you can see a flicker of light, a suggestion of the hem of a robe, and eventually you make it to the edge of a clearing. How do you guys want to approach this? You can see up ahead, there's a large tree in the center of this clearing. Its wood ancient, its branches gnarled. You get the impression that the person you were following was headed to this area.
How far away is the tree from the edge of the woods?
Oh, probably like 70 to 100 feet away.
Oh, of course, you would make it just over my 60, right?
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Yeah.
I think we should approach cautiously. Yeah. Because we might be getting led here.
Yeah. Maybe you can take right, I'll take left.
Okay.
Go as quiet as possible, and if we see anything at all, come back to the middle point.
Okay.
Where we are.
Okay, so give me more stealth checks, you guys, as you move to get into position.
So I stealthily move
21.
to the left.
Excellent. Okay, so as you move, the flickering light comes into view more. On the opposite side of the tree from where you guys approached, you can see it's hollowed out in the middle, but the light is coming from inside the tree. There is a robed figure that is standing in front of the light. They have their hands held high. You can see a glint of light shining off of a steel object, and they plunge it down on something. You can hear some light whispered chanting, and before too long you see another robed figure come out from where you guys were originally. If you hadn't moved, it probably would have stumbled right into you. and heads
wow.
into the clearing as well, and around to the other side and joins their friend. They too lift a dagger or some sharp steel object into the air and plunges it down. You can see the light source on the inside of the tree is atop some sort of table or altar or something. It's hard to tell at this distance, and also the light is blinding in this darkness, throwing everything into shadow. What do you guys do?
I'm gonna try to make my way to where Kimley is, as quiet as possible, and tee up with her.
Mm-hmm.
I'll roll first to see if I actually make it or not. Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
So I probably don't make it.
As you're moving towards the underbrush, you step on a stick or something, go through a bush that you shouldn't have gone through, and you hear a gasp like, "Who's there?" And they start looking out of the tree, but they're hesitant to
Can I
move
hear
away.
this?
Yes, for sure.
Okay, I'll start to move back towards Carol.
Mm-hmm. Not the most stealthy, but
Damn.
okay. Yeah,
Better
so
than me.
eventually you guys meet up. The figure isn't moving away from the tree. It looks like they're intentionally staying in there.
Should we move in closer to investigate it, Carl?
Well, I see that there's only 2 of them.
Pay no mind to the wolves, yeah.
Should we maybe one of us go back and grab at least one other? Well, we don't know how long they're going to be here for.
Both of you
Perhaps
give
we should
me
just move in
another
closer.
perception check. As you're having
Perception
this
check?
whispered, as you're having this whispered conversation. Okay, so Kimberly doesn't notice,
Wow.
but Kyoto,
Yeah, I have no clue.
you notice another light coming through the woods towards your direction. Same path that the other 2 have taken.
Quick, we have to move off to the right. Someone else is coming.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, this time you managed to move stealthily off of the path. And this robed figure doesn't seem to notice you as they pass on by and join their friends. There's a whispered conversation. This third person also holds up something steel and plunges it down on who or what, or you have no idea. You can't see it from this direction. You.
No,
Are we able to climb up higher to look from above?
Yeah, though they're in the hollow of a tree, so I'm not sure what good that would do you.
No,
yeah,
that
true,
wouldn't.
yeah. Well, I guess where it's still dark and they get the light in their face, so they're gonna have a way less advantage of seeing.
Mm-hmm. Reasonable.
I'm gonna try to. Okay, so Kimley, I'm gonna try to sneak up, get a little bit closer to get a better view. Cover me here, and if anything out of the ordinary happens, maybe get back and get Doran or Indalin to come back, and I'll make do until.
Okay. Roger that.
Come on, still.
Okay. So you sneak around. How do you approach it? Do you come out on the blind side of the tree, or do you go around the outside and approach them on the opening part of it?
I come out and go to the right side of the tree, keeping my distance still a good 20 feet back, close enough that I can see, but not too close that they can see, using the light that's in their face to my advantage, keeping in behind the light as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And I take a kneel down and do an investigation once I can see into the hollow of the tree as much as possible.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So they're pretty far away, and your dark vision doesn't go that far, right? So you'll have to
60 feet.
But you'll have to get out of the underbrush and into the open if you want to get closer and get a real good look.
Well, that's what I thought I did. I want to get within 20 feet
Oh, yes,
of them,
of course.
but keeping
Okay.
at least within, like, with the light, using the light to my advantage, so that way it's blinding them as they if they were to look out and hear me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you do an investigation check and you get closer. You creep closer. You hear them chanting words. You see the fires. You see a table / altar of some sort. You see some blood dripping off of it, maybe. 3 cloaked figures are in front of the table, doing something, murmuring. One of them keeps glancing over their shoulder. And as you get close enough to take a look, you swear one of them has a dagger and is brandishing it. As they look over their shoulder and they see you, they're like, there's somebody there. And all of them turn around. Their eyes presumably go wide, but it's hard to see in the hoods of their cloak. What do you do?
And they're looking in my direction.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Kimberly, you can hear somebody gasp and say, "There's somebody there."
I can try to play this off. Oh, what? Hey, what are you guys up to? I'm just out for a midnight stroll.
So you like uncrouch and like approach them.
Yeah. Well, I stay back. I keep my distance. I'm not going to approach them. Just be like, oh, it's just myself, Kioro. I was just out getting some fresh air after a bad dream.
Mm-hmm. Emily, what do you do?
Who?
I go against what Carl said and move closer to see if he is safe.
Okay. Give me.
But I will try and be quiet.
Okay, you're
Nice.
extremely quiet. They're distracted. Give me an insight check to see if you can figure out what they're going to do. For 16? Okay. You see that they have a steel implement of some sort in their hand. You see that there's blood on the altar of some sort that you can catch glimpses of. But instead of taking an attacking posture, they seem to be closer together and more frightened than anything. But I don't think Kioro, you get that vibe. And as you try and play it off, one of them says, "Kioro? That's Kioro from Agadoth?"
Yeah. Yes. Is Eric? Is that you?
What? No. What are you doing out here? We can't. And they like frantically whisper among themselves, too quietly to hear.
I move closer. I don't think there are any threats, so I'm going to move closer.
Mm-hmm. They don't see you at all. What do you say? Anything?
I'm still observing. Quietly.
What is going on out here, guys? Who? I can barely see who's there. Who's there?
And they're whispering each other like, "No, we can't." Yeah. And one of them like pushes in front of the other ones and lowers their hood, and you can see it's one of the triplets, either Veronica,
dun.
Abigail, or Tara. And
Abigail?
What'd you say?
What are you doing out here, Abigail?
And as she reveals herself, and you say that, I think we're gonna leave it there. Yeah. It's
On the
about
edge
time.
of the seat.
Nice cliffhanger.
Yeah. We're gonna leave it there. Yep. The triplets are caught out, or at least one of them, in the woods at night, doing something weird, and we'll figure out what it is next time.
Boom.
Suspense.
Well done.
All right, guys. So we got about 10 minutes left. Let's talk about goals.
Kimberly and I switched again.
Dang it. Well, it's fine. You're
Fine, I'll be
Kimberly for now.
Start breaking stuff and
you
eating cookies. You're good.
Okay, so
I know we've
Kioro.
been in the woods for a while, Kimberly, but you sure grew a nice beard.
I know, thank you. I've been waiting for so long.
It's that lumberjack vibe. Okay, so Kioro, get to the bottom of what's going on in Lastborn. You certainly didn't accomplish that, but you worked on it, so you get another 50
worked on
XP. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Learning one personal detail of each party member. Do you think you did that or worked on it?
I did not know. I was gonna try to do it while we were sneaking up, but I didn't get a chance to.
Okay. And then get
I got
back
caught up in the story.
in the good graces of my house. I don't think that was. I don't know. What do you think?
Not yet. No, I don't think so.
Okay. Awesome. Doran, collect a giant ruby. No. Stop or bring a thief to
Nope.
justice. I think maybe you were the thief this time, but what do you think?
Well, I did stop him from bootlegging.
True. Okay,
Maybe
I'll
not
give
that up for sure.
necessarily.
That's technically he's being a thief, so I'll give it to you. You can
Yeah.
get
But are you going to stop him fully, or did you just ruin his badge?
right. Maybe you're working on it, so you'll get 50 XP for that. And then your hidden one. What do you think about that one? Was that in progress?
No, not yet.
No. Okay.
Yep, still in progress.
Okay. So Kimberly.
I'm scared for this hidden one. I'm not going to lie. Doran, are you going to crisscross us? Are you going to like? What's going on here?
It's hidden.
Find out who's responsible for arson and Lastborn, Kimberly. What do you think? You work on that one?
I think we worked on it, but
Mhm.
it's not completed.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
50 XP. Graduate from the academy. That's just like a do or not do. There's not really a progress on that one, I don't
Yeah.
think. And then avenge my father. Probably not.
No.
Okay. And then Dalen doesn't get anything because he's not here like a jerk. All right. Well, that's gonna do
Did
it
we
for
get
us.
anything base or just the 50?
It's just a 50. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's your level times 50 experience. So since you're level 1, you
I
get
mean, did we get anything else? Oh, we didn't kill anybody or anything. We didn't do anything.
Nope.
Yet.
Yeah, we didn't do anything. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, guys.
Attention. We are
So
being
let's do
followed.
some shout outs here
Charlie
real quick.
dispatched
Let's
the
start with
welcoming drones.
Doran Oathkeeper, aka Curly Dino.
Hi, I'm Curly Dino. No, I tech guys and stream here on Mixer. Been playing a ridiculous amount of Skyrim lately and a lot of Minecraft. Been just recently introduced to the wonderful world of modding, so that's pretty much where my whole life has been. But it looks beautiful now. And let's see, schedule is 6 p.m. Eastern during the week, off on Wednesdays, and Saturday mornings 9 a.m. So
Awesome.
hope to see you guys around.
They can find you on Twitter and Mixer.
Yep, Twitter, Mixer, and of course Discord. So
Hell yeah.
Twitter is Meptech Gaming.
So have you managed to break your Skyrim install yet?
Yeah, and actually, first time I've ever modded anything and it works perfectly.
Wow.
So, I don't know what happened. I followed a guide.
Lucky.
and it was really well written.
Really
And I
lucky.
got about
Really lucky.
just about almost 80 mods in there now.
Damn, man. Holy
Nice.
shnikes. All right, so Doran Oathkeeper, aka wait, go ahead, Curly.
Meptech.
I'm Curly Dino. You can find me on Mixer as Curly Dino. I do a lot of variety games, battle royales, like competitive games, kind of whatever vibe I'm into. You can find me on Instagram, Discord, Twitter, and Mixer, and YouTube.
Awesome. Okay. And Kiorl Ravensoul, aka Mystic Mike, do it up, brother.
Mystic Mike. I stream daily, 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can find me there. Twitter, Mystic Mike Live. Instagram, Mystic Mike Live. Facebook, Mystic Mike Live. And I
And-
play a wide variety of games. A lot of Minecraft, kind of like Haptech, and a lot of RPGs.
And on Mixer, your name is Mystic Mike, not Mystic Mike Live.
Yeah, I do have Mystic Mike Live. I have that reserved, but I don't want to make the branding change just
Yeah.
yet.
Totally, I understand it, man. That would be tough.
Yeah.
Cool, dude. Cool. All right. Well, I am your DM, Captain Wilhelm, or you can just call me Cap or whatever. I am also on Mixer and Twitter, and I have a YouTube channel. I stream every day at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time due to work. And on Saturdays, obviously, we do the D&D thing. So catch me and everybody else next time, Saturday, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll see you later, guys. Thanks for watching.
Later, guys.
Bye now.
Have a good
fun.
one.
Yep.
Bye.